Roymen Sukuna, the king of curses, the strongest sorcerer of the golden age of Jujutsu, and now the strongest sorcerer of today, known as the Disgraced One. But just how truly powerful is he? Is he really that powerful, or is he merely a big fish in a small pond? G'day ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, and in today's video, we'll be scaling Sukuna in the 4 categories, this being attack potency, speed, durability, IQ, plus the combination of battle IQ. Now I've seen a fair number of videos actually covering Sukuna and his power, but they seem just to cover his strength within the verse rather than using an actual scaling system. So let's jump into this. I think the most important thing to establish first is what exactly Sukuna does. Well, at the time of this video, his exact curse technique is unknown. Quite convenient. However, what is known is that Sukuna utilizes slashing techniques as well as some sort of mastery of flames. But it has been expanded upon that he actually uses 2 different slashing techniques. The slash he uses most often is known as dismantle. Dismantle is better used on inanimate objects or those without cursed energy. But this doesn't mean they can't be used on said individuals. This is because it's been theorized that if he targets an object behind an individual with cursed energy, then they can still be damaged. This has been viewed in both fights between Maharaga and Gojo. This ability can also be carried out at a distance rather than in close combat. The secondary attack is Cleave, which strength can be adjusted depending on a target's toughness and cursed energy level. Unlike Dismantle, Sukuna must make physical contact with the target in order to activate Cleave, unless he uses his domain expansion. He also has the ability to manipulate flames, as we saw after he muttered the word open that he summoned a flaming arrow, and with this he was able to outcompete the volcano cursed disaster Jogo in terms of pure firepower. This is the same Jogo who is around city block level in terms of AP, and this was him only at 15 fingers. And of course we can't forget his trusty domain expansion, which we can argue is one of, if not the best in JJK. It is known as Malevolent Shrine, well, or Kitchen. Malevolent Shrine is an open domain which doesn't create a separate space within a barrier. This domain has a guaranteed hit ability and has an extended range due to being open. For Malevolent Shrine, it has the extended range of 200 meters. Within his domain, Sukuna can use both Dismantle and Cleave to relentlessly slash apart anything until it becomes nothing but dust. This would mean that those with heavenly restrictions would still be vulnerable to damage. But alright, we've gone through the basics of Sukuna's abilities, now it's onto the scaling, first being his most impressive attack potency, also known as AP. As for AP, Sukuna's initial dismantles and cleaves are around city block level, which we can see when a 15-finger Sukuna totaled Shibuya within a 140 meter radius. His attacks easily exceeded that of Jogo, the same Jogo who damaged city blocks in Shibuya with his maximum meteor and also caused earthquakes within this area, which would put him around the multi-city block level. So at the very least, Sukuna would be around multi-city block level when it comes to AP, and this was when he was in his 15-finger form and wasn't even trying. And because of the fact he wasn't trying, I feel a lot of people tend to underestimate Sukuna's attack potency. I mean, it seems that he's practically capable of destroying everything inverse within a 200 meter radius. I personally think that using this basic scaling, at base 20-finger form, his attack potency would be above city level. Either way, we see a massive boost to his AP once he took on Gojo. Just to lay a foundation of knowledge, Gojo's limitless technique allows him to maintain an infinite barrier around him. The infinity is the convergence of an immeasurable series. Anything that approaches the infinity slows down, as we saw with Jogo. With this ability, the opponent will never be able to hit Gojo. This is because the technique takes the finite amount of space between the two subjects and divides it by an infinite amount of times. And when you hear this, you think that, hey, Gojo's untouchable. But Sukuna pulled the biggest move in Jujutsu history and managed to slice Gojo in half. How was he able to do this? Well, Sukuna provides us a narration of how he managed to break through Gojo's infinity. After watching Maharaga adapt, he finally learned how to do it, and he stated that he wasn't actually targeting Gojo per se, rather his attack extended all the way through space, existence, and the world itself, which sounds like a dismantle to me. With this, Sukuna was able to cut through the world of infinity, or at the very least, space and existence, which is arguably one of the greatest feats in the JJK verse. This puts him at a highball to an AP level of 4D. Now yeah, this is definitely on the much higher end of scaling, so if you want to mid-ball it, I'd argue that it's a planetary level attack, since it cuts through the world and will likely be as strong if not stronger than Yuki's black hole or even Hollow Purple. This mid-end scaling planetary feat is further supported by Geiji Akutami himself, as he refers to Sukuna being capable of destroying the world at his full form. Now this is important as Akutami will often make clear distinctions between society and world, meaning this further reinforces that Sukuna at the very least could be a planet destroyer. Now moving on to his speed, Sukuna seems to acquire better feats as the manga goes on. As for now, I have him from hypersonic to light speed. Sukuna is on par if not faster than Toji, the same Toji who ran on water and flash stepped the witch. Toji at the very least is subsonic. Even Sukuna early on was shown to be flashing around hundreds of meters when he was beating down on poor Potential Boy. Now, while I did say Sukuna was on par with Toji, I didn't say how many finger Sukunas this was. This was a 3-finger Sukuna, so once at 20 fingers, he easily exceeded these speeds. So as for pure movement speed, I would say at the very least hypersonic, but we'll jump more into that in a bit. As for combat speed, I'd argue it's far greater than his movement speed. We see in the beginning of his fight with Gojo that he was fast enough to react to a sudden hollow purple. Now when Gojo first learned how to utilize this technique, he was able to destroy an at minimum subsonic Toji, which means hollow purple would move at far higher speeds than subsonic. Furthermore, the character Ramjet, the same who fought Maki, is able to fight at Mach 3 speeds, or supersonic. I don't think anyone would disagree that Gojo or Sukuna would undoubtedly speed blitz him, which by decree would mean that he's at the very least hypersonic. This is further supported as when we take a look at base Kashimo against Hikari, Kashimo was seen utilizing lightning to attack Hikari. And though we can say that Hikari wasn't technically dodging these attacks, he was still able to react and move his head out of the way so his arm took the blow instead. This would scale Hikari and Kashimo to massively hypersonic. Now you might ask, hey, why does this matter? Well, Gojo has been stated time and time again that he's the fastest sorcerer of the modern day, which may not include Kashimo, but it certainly includes Hikari. This translates to Sukuna as he was on par with Gojo, and hence he'd roughly scale to hypersonic plus speeds. I'd argue we get some better feats when we look at his brief battle with Kashimo. Kashimo is one of the fastest characters in JJK, with his abilities including the manipulation of electricity being known as the Lightning God. His overall stats including speed increased through his activation of his curse technique, Mythic Amber Beast. With this activation, Kashimo's body manifests a phenomena that surpasses all human limits, and with this, the narrator states that he's able to utilize electromagnetic waves. These waves can be calculated to be around, if not, the same speed as light. Now it's difficult to say if Kashimo moves or reacts to these speeds, or if it's merely his attacks that reach these speeds. So let's just say that we restrict Kashimo's attacks to be moving at such speeds. Well, it doesn't change much. This is because we still observe Sukuna easily reacting, chanting, and then countering Kashimo's attacks before it even reaches him. Now I do see people say that Sukuna saw Kashimo charging up his attack, so he had time to prepare. However, his attack still collided with Kashimo's, which would suggest that it's faster than light, hence meaning that Sukuna is able to react to light speed attacks. So highballing his speed, which let's face it, what's the fun if we aren't going to highball it, then we can get him within the ballpark of light speed. So I'd say that Sukuna would be massively hypersonic to faster than light in terms of combat speed. I will note that there is a black flash scale that you can look into if you're interested, which would put Gojo and Sukuna to FTL+, but I don't necessarily agree with the scaling of this black flash system. I find it less reliable, and hence this is why I didn't use it. Moving on to his durability, we can see Sukuna hadn't really been tested until his latest appearances. In his 15-finger form alone, I would argue that he would be City Block plus level, considering he was able to take on an adapting Mahoraga while he was having fun, and keep in mind that both were destroying the city of Shibuya as a side effect of their battle. However, the most impressive feats of durability again come from his fights with Gojo and Kashimo. What a surprise. Kashimo's manipulation of electricity, lightning and all that good stuff should mean that his attack's energy output should reach similar to that of lightning. This would mean that Kashimo's attacks would output at the very least large building levels of power, and this is only in his base form. Furthermore, according to the narrator, it stated that Kashimo's technique should allow him to vaporize irradiated objects. However, we can clearly see that Sukuna is still standing, meaning that Sukuna has some sort of hacks resist. But not only this, since Kashimo utilizes electromagnetic waves, we can scale his energy output, which if Kashimo can output the same amount of energy, would mean that even without the additional hacks, he would be outputting count levels of attack potency at the very least. Looking at his battle with Gojo, we can see that Sukuna takes a lot of damage from Gojo, yet continues to fight, heal, and shows some sort of resistance. He even took damage from Red while he was unready, which actually makes his durability significantly weaker, and yet he continued to fight. Bear in mind, a young and weaker gojo who fought Toji was able to uproot over 1,000 tons of dirt, stone, and all that sort of stuff with his lapse blue and maximum output. In his curse technique reversal, red is stated by Jogo to be twice as powerful, which is the same attack as stated that Sukuna got hit with unready. However, the most impressive feat is the fact that he survived 2 hollow purples. Gojo's hollow purple is stated to be an imaginary mass, and there is debate whether or not his ability is an existence erasure or durability negation. I've seen a wide spectrum of scaling with hollow purple strength, being that it's superior to Yuki's black hole, which would get him to at the very least planetary level. Yet at a moment's notice, Sukuna survived a hollow purple at 120% of power at the beginning of his fight with Gojo. He only lost 2 of his arms, which he quickly regenerated. He also survived an unlimited hollow, which is hollow purple over a large space. And look, he was significantly injured by this, but he wasn't injured enough to where he couldn't defeat Gojo, as he had one-shot him the next chapter. Still, the fact that he was able to survive 2 hollow purples means that he would have at the very least planetary level of durability at a highball. Even at the lower scale of hollow purple, which would put out mountain durability, would also mean that Sukuna would be around mountain level at the lower ends. Moving on to his IQ, battle IQ and skills, Sukuna is adaptable in battle, being a highly intelligent sorcerer. He was the most capable fighter of the golden age of Jujutsu. We see him being capable of learning things on the fly, such as being able to quickly deduce the inner workings of a curse technique only after seeing them once or twice, which includes successfully wielding the 10 shadows better than Megumi, a sorcerer who was born with it. We see him successfully utilize Maharaga's adaptations in order to bypass Gojo's infinity. He even ensured that Maharaga adapted enough inside before he brought him out to fight. I mean, he only had to watch Maharaga cut through Gojo's infinity once in order to figure out how to do the exact same thing. He quickly learned how to split up his soul from witnessing Kenjaku doing it, and he even learned to restore his burned out curse technique through destroying a part of his own brain before healing it with reverse curse technique after seeing Gojo doing it once. And there's no doubt in his high-end form, when it comes to pure hand-to-hand combat, no one except Gojo with his infinity would be much of a match for him. As for the moment, he easily outskilled Kashimo alone, as well as defeated Yuji, Chozo, Higuruma, Aino, and Kusakabe in quick succession. Even a 15-finger Sukuna that was being limited to less than 20% of his output when fighting Maki and Yuji was on par with both of them. That added with the rest of the experience he gained from his Heian era, which is stated to be more vicious where powerful sorcerers and curses reign supreme, undoubtedly makes Sukuna one of the smartest and most skilled sorcerers in the entirety of JJK. Alright, so let's just go through the levels of scaling we've got Sukuna at. So at a highball, I've got Sukuna's AP at around 4D, his durability around planetary level, and speed being FTL. For a midball, I would put his AP at around planetary, his durability around mountain to country, and his speed at relativistic. And as for a low ball, I would say he would easily have city plus levels of AP. For his durability, it would be city to mountain level, and his speed hypersonic. And now we reached the end of the video. As always, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, then don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you'd want to see next, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.